I didn't know Domenick as long as a lot of the people in the room did, but he made an immediate impact on me because, number one, he was the kind of gentleman that you would want to become when you're his age. Number two, he was a hardworking guy who worked well beyond an age that most people ever worked, when, from what I understand, he could have retired and made more with a pension, with real world wage factored in. He got his PhD and started a number of really meaningful educational programs. And he had an adage that we should bring the university to the docks and the docks to the university. And I can't tell you how much I personally love that kind of egalitarianism. And that's part of what we need at the table, again, these negotiating tables of the future. So with that, I'd like to give the mic to Gary Herrera to introduce this year's very deserved recipient of the Domenick Miretti Award.
Well, thank you very much. As he said, my name is Gary Herrera. I am the president of the ILWU Local 13 in Southern California. And I'd like to say thank you to all the you guys that showed up here today to acknowledge somebody who's very special to me. Everything I say right now is going to come straight from the heart. I didn't write anything. I didn't plan on writing anything, because what this woman entails is everything that I believe in it and everything that it is embodied in the ILW and in labor, and what we're here today for, to have tough discussions, to have consequences, truth about how we're going forward to work together. This woman has dedicated her life to working with labor, to making sure there's equality, there's fairness across the board. Somebody that we as a labor organization, the ILWU, can look to for fairness, even when truth and consequences in today's agenda. The consequences of going fully green, but those consequences of job loss. We have a voice. We're somebody who stands behind labor, somebody that represents us. My friend, not just somebody that we trust as that represents labor, but she's a friend of labor, but a friend of mine. This award, her intelligence, her background, and her education, her willingness to work with labor, to talk about the truth, as what we're here today, is I couldn't be happier to have somebody on our side, somebody represent us. There's not one person in the ILWU right now that I think is better deserving, and she's not even in the ILWU, but to me, she is an ILWU member. She is one of us. She belongs in the ILWU, in which I've already told her we're making her an honorary member this coming December. But I hope you know, with this Domenick Miretti Award, that everything that's embodied in this program, everything you just seen on this screen right now, she represents. She represents the truth and the consequences, and she's there to tell you what they are, to hopefully that those consequences are not detrimental to people, to us, because she wants clean air, but she wants jobs. And that's what we're here for. That's what the ILWU is here for. So to have us here today, to be a part of this conversation, I think is huge. But it's even bigger to have somebody like Diane Middleton, who is the next recipient of the Domenick Miretti Award. And it's my honor, it's my pleasure, on behalf of Local 13, on behalf of me as a man, as an individual, to say congratulations, and it couldn't be to a more well-deserving woman that I know and a friend of labor. So please welcome Diane Middleton.
Very good. Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning. Got to start out with thanks, particularly to CITT for what I consider to be the great honor of receiving the Domenick Miretti Award. But I also have to thank the ILWU. I was born and raised in Detroit and didn't hear about the ILWU until 1976, almost 50 years ago. And when I did, it changed my life. The ILWU has been at the center of everything I've done. I've been an attorney for 50 years, and during most of those years, I represented ILWU and shipyard workers and had firsthand experiences. Everything I know about the docks, I learned from ILWU members. So great thanks to them. I knew Domenick Miretti, and I know many of the other honorees, and I am humbled to be in the company of people who made the outstanding contributions that past honorees have. And it's a great task to live up to what these people have accomplished. I'm entering my 5th year as a harbor commissioner for the Port of LA. And you all know how big the Port of LA is, our budget of over $2 billion a year, over 900 employees. I mean, a tremendous impact. They say 1 out of 9 jobs in the Southern California area are dependent on the port. For every can moved, there are 4 jobs created. So it's a tremendous responsibility. And I've thought a great deal about what makes a great port. And seeing this and hearing Gary and looking at what we're going to do the next 2 hours is a lot of food for thought. I think the first thing that is very, very clear to me, and something that has been an abiding principle I've tried to put into action in terms of my years on the Harbor Commission, is the concept of a social compact. I first heard about this concept from my great friend, the first longshoreman I ever met, Dave Arian, a past international president of the ILWU and a past vice president of the Port of LA Harbor Commission. And when Dave talked about the social compact and explained it, it's a very gripping concept. It's the idea that in communities like San Pedro and Wilmington and Harbor City, they bear the brunt of this great goods movement, of the thousands and millions, 10 million TEUs one year, of containers that move through our ports. Their streets are clogged. They have to take their kids to the emergency room for asthma treatments. They bear that burden. And the question has to be asked, what do they get in return? What is the obligation the port has to those communities who have higher rates of cancer, higher rates of childhood asthma than almost anywhere in the state? What are we going to do? What is the solution? Well, I've been privileged to serve under 3 different mayors in different administrations as a commissioner. And I can tell you, we go back to Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, who had a great slogan: grow the port, green the port. That has continued through to our current councilman, who's done a bang-up job his first 11 months in office, and I'm looking forward to the next 7+ years I know he's going to have representing us, Tim McCosker, and I'll echo what he says, and that's there are 2 things that are truly going to make a difference. One is jobs, and the other is the environment. That we can have both, just like Antonio said, grow the port, green the port. Yes, we want jobs. And I'm here to say, first of all, that we're going to fight for every pound of cargo coming back to this port, because we know that's jobs for our brothers and sisters in the ILWU and many other industries. So yes, we absolutely want jobs. But we also have to do something about the environment. The jobs that we need to create have to be good union jobs that provide for an entry to the middle class. And when I think about what makes a great port, I'm going to tell you that yes, we want to look at TEUs and who's the #1 port in the Western Hemisphere, which is the Port of LA. But beyond that, we've got to look at more. And what we've got to look at is what are the jobs of the future. And I want to quickly share with you 3 really exciting projects at the port that I think are going to make a difference. The first is the PMA Mechanics Training Center. Gary and I were out there a couple days ago with Councilman McCosker, And the PMA has erected a $17 million facility at Pier 400 for the purpose of reskilling and upskilling mechanics. And it's an amazing operation. The first classes are going to start February 1st. That's going to retain the current longshore workforce, but with many, many new skills. And that's going to tie right into two other very exciting projects. I hope all of you know about Alta-Sea. Alta-Sea is the blue economy. The hub of it is right here in the Port of Los Angeles. And we are hoping that it is going to create thousands of good blue jobs. And as Tyler correctly said, there's going to be a lot of controversy about all of the concepts that we saw in that video. I happen to believe, and I hope it will be true, that with better environmental approaches, we're going to have more jobs, not fewer. And I look at Alta-Sea, and I look at the possibility of coastal engineering, aquaculture, robotics. These are all jobs that don't exist now. Just like 30 years ago, none of us knew what a webmaster was. But we have all those jobs now. There are new jobs that are going to be created. And I want the Port of LA to be at the center of that hub. So we have the PMA Mechanics Training Center. We have Alta-Sea, but the crowning jewel is going to be the Port of LA, Port of Long Beach, Goods Movement Campus. It is going to not only train longshoremen, truck drivers, and logistic workers, but we're going to look at those new jobs because, as we know, and it has been painfully aware to me as a harbor resident for 50 years in San Pedro, not everybody's going to get a Class A longshore book. So what are we going to do about the people that don't have the opportunity to be longshoremen? What is going to be their entry to the middle class? What is going to give them the jobs and the income so they don't add to the problems of homelessness and despair and everything that we see is wrong with our society now? I mean, I believe that we can have good health, a higher quality of life, and good paying jobs. And that's what I hope we're all going to be working for. So I am very grateful for this award. I'm humbled. It's a commitment to try and do far more than we've been doing and to make the Port of LA and our partner, the Port of Long Beach, because I believe in partnerships, to be a great force for creating good jobs and a better environment. Thank you so much for this award, and let's look forward to everything we're going to learn from this presentation. Thank you so much.